Hello guys, welcome back to Playwright with Java Automation Testing Session 5. In today's session, I'll cover how to handle radio button using Playwright and Java. So in most of the web pages, you'll be seeing radio buttons, but whenever you are dealing with the radio button, you can select only one options. And whenever you are selecting other option, first one will be automatically deselected. So let's go with some simple example of radio button. So this is the official site of demo.guru99.com, and you could see the radio button. You can check one radio button, right? And if you select other radio button or check that one, automatically the other one will be deselected. So instead of multiple radio button options, you can select only one radio option at a time. So what are the different right operations we can do for the radio buttons using Playwright and Java? First thing, we can scroll into view if needed. Sometime right radio button or the particular options might not be visible in that web page with that default right outlet or default zoom options. Okay, so sometimes page might not be fitted, sometimes there might be scroll bar available, left, right, horizontal, vertical scroll bar might be available. So you can use the scroll into view if needed, so that your particular element will be visible first. After that you can do the operation. So scroll into view if needed method used to scroll an element into the visible area of the browser window if it is not already visible. This method is called on a locator which represent a specific element on the page. After that, there is a isVisible method which will return whether the element is visible or not. IsHidden return whether the element is hidden. The is opposite to the isVisible method. IsEnabled will return whether the element is enabled or not. So that in case element is visible, enabled is enabled, then only you can do the operations. IsDisabled returns whether the element is disabled or not. It is opposite to the isEnabled method. IsChecked, it will return whether the element is checked or selected by default or the initially. Suppose in case nothing is selected, right, the option is not selected. So in case you are using isChecked, it will be giving you the boolean result false. And for radio button, you can use check or click to check a particular options. So check will primarily work on radio button or checkbox, whereas click might work on a link as well, right? Other options as well. So these are the important methods available primarily to deal with radio button using Playwright and Java. So let's see the code. So this is the generic code we are writing it to launch that particular Guru 99 page. After that, what we will do, we will try to identify any options element. So what we will do, we will open the page. After that, we can select an option or we can press F12 button, or you can right click and you click on the options inspect button. So you could see this is a input tag. So definitely input tag means it will be radio button or text or a checkbox. So you need to verify the type. So in case tag is input, the type is radio, it is radio button, and name is there, ID is there, some value is there. So what we will do, in Playwright there are some built-in locator available, like get by roles, get by text, get by label, get by placeholder, get by alt text, get by title, get by test ID. Apart from that, there is another thing is called custom locator. We can do it, okay, sometimes. So there is a locator method is available where we can use some CSS or XPath through which we can identify the element as well. So once you identify the element, after that we can do the operations whatever prescribed for handling that radio button. So let's first identify the element with that XPath or CSS. So what we can do, we will create some web element, sorry, locator here. We'll call that locator interface and create a variable called radio 1 because we want to deal with the radio 1, equal to, I need to call that page variables dot locator, right? This is the called custom locator, right, where we can use our XPath or CSS. So that is the way. Sometimes XPath and CSS might help to identify the locators element in Playwright. So what we will do, in case we know that ID, right, so we can put hash before the ID, so automatically some CSS will be created. Apart from that, if we just click on the triple dot and copy, and we can copy that selector, so that will also work. So CSS or export anything might work with the locator methods for Playwright. So it's done. Now we need to import that locators from that com.microsoft.playwright packages. Now it's created. Now what we will do with that particular radio options, we will try to check whether is displayed, enabled, right, is checked or not, all this stuff. So what, let's copy that one and let's go for a couple of number of times. So we'll check whether is displayed, because unless it is displayed there is no point, right, of doing any operation. So is visible. So this is the method. You could see this is the visible method, returns whether the element is visible or not, right? So this is the stuff we can check first. After that we can check is hidden. So definitely in case it is visible, so it will not be hidden. Is hidden returns whether the element is hidden, the opposite of visibles. After that we can check whether is editables or is enabled. So is enabled returns whether element is editables, right? If the target element is not an input text area or select, does not have a roles following, the method throws an error. Okay, so let's use enable, or after that we can use is disabled, right? And then we can check another option called is checked. You could see this will return whether the element is checked, throws if the element is not a checkbox or radio button. So this is only work for radio button and checkbox. So that is the way you can get to know all the details of the objective of each method, whatever coming from the locator interface. So now let's try to run it. So what will happen? So definitely element is visible, element is enabled, element is by default not checked. So these are the stuff you can able to see here during execution. So it will first open that Chromium browsers. It will launch that page guru99.com, and it will not do any operations. Simply it will just print the output for options 1 or radio 1. You could see first one is visible. Yes, it is visible. Is hidden? No. In case visible, it is false coming as boolean value. Is enabled? Definitely it is enabled, so that we can check or unchecked, or you can select. Is disabled? No. By default is checked? No, it is false. So after that what we can do, we can try to check it. So what we will do, there is a two methods available, either check or click. So let's first go with that check. So this is the method coming from the locator. Return type is void, so it will not do any return anything. It will do the action. So ensure that checkbox or radio element is checked. So we are trying to check it. After that, if we want to check is checked again, so automatically it will be checked and it will be true, right? So let's try to run it again and let's see. So after that, radio button 1 will be checked and your is checked will be true after selecting the options in console. Okay, it is checked. Now in the console it is coming as true. Initially it was false. So let's comment out this line of code. That's fine. Let's try to create one more radio buttons variables for other radio button called radio 2. Okay, so for radio 2, let's close this out and go for the radio 2 options. What is the properties for radio 2 options? Option 2 radio button, it is coming as VFB-7-2, so I can use it too. So radio button 2 is option is identified now with the help of radio 2 variable. Now what we can do, we can check radio button 2 is visibles, right, and radio 2 is enabled, and radio 2 is checked or not as well. So this is the stuff we can check. After that, we can wait for some times. Say we will be giving some wait time, page dot wait for timeout, maybe 2 seconds or 3 seconds. So 2000 millisecond I can give, and then here I will be checking 2. I'll be changing it to 2. I'll be changing it to 2. I'll be changing it to 2. Now what will happen? After that I will check radio option 2. So instead of check, I'll be using click. So same way it will work. And after that I can check whether radio button is checked, 1 is checked, or radio button 2 is checked as well. So let's try to run the code. So this is the step. I can disable it. We already verified. So let's disable it and let's run the code and let's see what's happening there. So it's a radio button. So in case some of the button was checked and other options we are checking, so automatically that options will be deselected. So that is the way radio button work. But for checkbox it is different part. We will discuss it. Now initially option was selected, and now after 2 seconds we are trying to select the option 2. It is option 2 is getting selected. So what is the thing is coming? So initially there was no option selected, so it is coming as false. After that we are checking the radio button 1, right? So radio button 2 is checked, no, by default it is not, false. Radio button 2 is visible, yes, 2 visible. Radio button 2 is enabled, yes, enabled. Radio button 2 is checked, no, false. After that we are waiting for 2 seconds, we are clicking on the radio button 2, and then we are trying to check the radio. After radio button 2 we are trying to check radio button is checked, 1 is checked, no. Radio button 2 is checked, yes, true. So this is the step, we can verify it. Now let's comment out this code as well. Let's comment out this line of code as well, so you can more easily understand. So after radio button 1 check, so radio button I can validate. So we'll first check the radio button 1. After that we'll validate whether radio button 1 and 2 option is checked. We'll wait for 2 seconds. After that we'll click radio button 2 and we'll check whether radio button 1 is 2 again checked or not. So this is simple code I can validate. So we'll try to run one last more times. So it will open the page, load the page fully. It will try to identify option 1 and 2 for the radio button. It will click on the option 1, wait for 2 seconds, it will click on the option 2. So that is the way automatically option 1 is getting deselected and option 2 is getting selected. So now initially radio button 1 is checked, yes, because here we already checked the radio button 1. Radio button 2 is checked, no, false. And after that we are checking the radio button 2. So automatically now radio option was not selected, false, and radio button 2 is checked or selected, true. So that is the way, right, we can deal with the radio button using Playwright and Java. Okay, so what are the important methods available? So first we can check, right, use scroll into view if needed. In case that element is not visible, right, there is a scroll bar available, right, left side, right side, top, horizontally, vertically, right, all the way. So we can use that scroll into view if needed, required here. First thing, so simply what we will do, we will be, after identifying that options, we will be doing dot scroll into view if needed. Similarly for that option 2 also you can do it. So in case sometime, right, it is not being visible, so it will try to scroll down the page or up the page or scroll right or left the page. It will identify the element and then it will work. Okay, is visible, return whether the element is visible or not. Is hidden, it will opposite to is visible. In case is not visible only, then it will be true, otherwise false. Is enabled, is case that option radio button we are able to select it only, then it is enabled, true, else it will be false. Or is disabled, in case disabled, then it will be true or false. Is checked, so definitely in case some option is getting checked, it will be giving you true or else false. And with the help of the check or click method, you can select some option. But for radio button, again I told, right, only one option can be selected at a time. If you select other option, automatically whatever selected previously, it will be deselected or unselected. Okay, so that's all from today's session, guys. Thank you.